And I thought I had just fixed it so there was going to be no more waiting room, but I didn't do that clearly. All right. What's your name? How do you spell Bria?
B-R-I-A.
What's your name? And what's your name? David? Baby? Dayton. Sorry, it's crazy. I can't see your mouth move. My ear is being folded over by my thing here. Oh, sorry. So you guys can put your cameras on. I don't see. Hopefully you can hear me. And go to the chat, please, and say who you are. So if you're online, please go to chat and put your name in there. Hi, Ebony, I see you. Put your name here. Oh, you can't hear me. Thanks. Okay. Thanks. All right. Sorry. Oh. Hold on. You think? Can you guys hear me now? I don't think that's it. It worked on Monday. You can't hear me? Here. I know it says I'm not muted, but apparently I'm still muted. Let me see if there's something here. I just read an article about how to not be good on Zoom is when you have technical problems. Hey, you're good. Do you know why they can't hear me though?
What's that?
Do you know why I'm not muted? Do you know why they can't hear me?
The computer itself.
Yeah.
Check the microphone on the computer. Is everything good? So this is, are you recording? Is
I am.
everything working?
Select sound output device, internal speaker, Samsung input, internal microphone built in. Can you guys hear me now? No. Oh, okay. Cool. And anyone inside 70, yeah. Oh, okay, sounds like I can hear. Okay, so I'm trying not to pass out paper and touch things, so let's see, I have so far Mia, Brianna, Nelly, Bria, Drew, Dayton, what is your name? Maya? How do you spell it?
N-I-Y-E.
N-I-Y-E. Okay, now what's your Jordan? Okay. And what's your name?
Shamala.
How do you spell that?
SHAMILRAH.
Okay. And I know Nellie. So I'm gonna go right on to, that's somebody's pretty screen back there. I'm gonna go into Moodle, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the writing assignment that you are gonna have every day in here. So every day, we do what are called a quick write. So you can write on paper. You can write on your computer if you have one. And then eventually, you're going to, oh, they don't have screen share. Okay, come back, my Zoom. Select screen. Firefox cannot allow permanent access to your screen. You know, at this point, all right. Can you guys hear me? I am a student whose screen is working. Oh, I'm now my own co-host. All right. Can you guys hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear? Cool. All right. So for some reason, I'm unable to share the Moodle screen with you guys. However, you don't really need to see anything at this moment on Moodle. You will eventually. So we're going to start with the quick writes. Every day in this class, you do a quick write. And I give you the topic in the first 1 or 2 times. So today the topic is, I'm going to put it in the chat so that they can see. The topic is, what do you think of cancel culture? So has anybody ever heard that expression? So I don't expect many of you have. What do you think of cancel culture? Okay, so has anybody heard of cancel culture? 0, none, yes. What is cancel culture?
Okay, this person does something that nobody likes, they cancel them, so that nobody likes them no matter what.
Right, that's kind of it. So since only one of you sort of have a sense of it, Google what it means, cancel culture. So get on your phone, computer, whatever you have in front of you, and just Google the words cancel culture. And I will do it too. I'm gonna try again to do a screen share. Oh, why will it not let me screen share? Remember this decision? Nope, just won't let me. All right, it is what it is. Okay, so please, if you're in the virtual classroom, Google cancel culture, and I'm gonna Google it too and see what comes up. Okay, so the pop culture definition refers to the popular practice of withdrawing support for canceling public figures and companies after they have said or done something that is considered objectionable or otherwise. So can you think of any examples of this? Has somebody got canceled. There were, just this summer, some very famous cancellations. Oh, the quick writes don't have to be long, and so don't start yet. Quick writes are short, paragraph or two. So don't start yet. Quick writes are short. Because first we have to make sure everybody's on the same page. All right. Can you think, since you kind of knew the concept, can you think of anybody that got canceled?
I think what?
Can you think of any individual who got canceled?
I have no idea.
All right.
Charles.
Who?
James Charles.
What did he do?
He like got in a fight with this other girl, and then they're like everyone started following him.
Sure. I don't know. It's probably like a youthful cancel culture thing that I don't know about. So that sounds like a case of canceling someone. What would be another example? Did you guys follow the case in New York where there was a woman who was in a park with her dog? Does this ring any bells? And she had her dog off leash, so the dog was running around. There was a bird watcher.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
And she got fired from her job.
Then she got fired from her job, right. So that is cancel culture. She got fired from her job because the bird watcher said, you need to put your dog on a leash. That's the law. She said, I'm calling the police on you, which is a weird thing to do because she was the one breaking the law, right? So he said, go ahead, call the police. And he filmed her and the dog off the leash. And the dog was sort of struggling. So she did lose her job because that's an obnoxious thing to do, right? And it's all around race because what race was the bird watcher?
Black.
Black. And what race was the lady who called the police? She was white, right. So she lost her job and she's been in the media. So that's the cancel culture par excellence. So when I ask you to write about this, what do you feel about cancel culture? There's not a right answer, a wrong answer. After you write about it, I'll tell you what I think. The bird watcher declined to press charges. So she was hassling him, and then when it got to the courts, he said, nah, I don't want to press charges. She lost her job. She's been humiliated. She was wrong, but I'm leaving it at that. Okay, so that's the example I have, and hopefully you get the concept. So the rules with fast writing are, so I'm going to cut and paste it from Moodle so that the attendees are able to see the rules. So the rules, I'm going to read them out loud and then I'm going to paste them in the chat. There are no rules. Don't try to write badly, but give yourself permission to do so. To the extent you can, think about writing rather than before it. So think through writing. Keep your pen moving. If you run out of things to say, write about how weird it is to run out of things to say until new thoughts arrive. Silence your internal critic to suspend judgment. Don't censor yourself. So don't cancel yourself. Don't censor yourself. So I'm going to make sure that those rules are in the chat. And I'm going to have you write for about 5 minutes. And I'm not supposed to get close to you guys, so no. You can do it on your notebook, I would recommend that you do it into a Google Doc, because if it's in a Google Doc, it's not gonna get lost. And if you put it in your notebook, just remember at the end of the semester, I'm gonna say, did you do your passwords throughout the semester? So if you do it on your notebook, you're gonna have to rewrite it into either one notebook dedicated to that, or you're gonna have to retype things into an electronic drive. So let me just remind these guys, you do not submit them, so no submission. I don't really read them when I look at them, I just see it's for participation. No submissions. I look at the end of the semester. Did you do between, usually there's, between 25 and 30 fast rates. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to try to find Chrome, because I think this is going to work a lot better on Chrome. Okay, so everybody, all those Friday people at home, I'm gonna end this meeting. I know that's annoying, but I'm gonna see if I can do what I need to do on Chrome. So I'm gonna end this Firefox browser. If you're doing the fast writes, the rule is you have to keep writing, so keep writing. And you can also be thinking about what you wanna bring in for a writing prompt. So on Friday, I'm gonna sign everybody up for a day that you bring in a writing prompt. So don't be alarmed. I am closing up this meeting, and then you're gonna unmute. So if you guys are at home, can you now see Moodle? Cool, okay. Very good. Okay, so you can wrap up what you're writing, and then I'm gonna ask a brave volunteer to read what they wrote. And there's no right or wrong answer, doesn't matter to me too much what you put on the topic. And if I don't get a brave volunteer, then I will choose somebody. Anybody in person want to be that brave volunteer? Anybody? So I'm gonna look at you guys. Anybody at home want to be the brave volunteer? So I'm gonna unmute the first person that I see that I don't know at all, which is Samantha's gonna be unhappy, but Samantha, you're just the first one on there. So can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I'm unmuted.
Okay, so what did you write?
I said that I think that cancel culture is done by a lot of people around the world, and that like certain people find it offensive or like if they don't like another like person or somebody else's views, then they'll kind of just like I guess push them away from like their fame that they had before. I said if a famous when someone famous
Because sadly, the speakers aren't projecting, but so you say that people should be allowed to say what they want. Is that kind of the gist of it?
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
No, say it in your own words, because I don't want to misrepresent you.
I said that I think it's done by a lot of people around the world, but that I also think that you should be able to say what you want to say basically without people like putting you down. Like if people don't support you, then whatever, they don't have to. But I mean, you should at least have your opinion.
Okay, so since nobody can hear you, I have to sort of repeat it. She says that you should be, it's I think if I got the gist of it, it's obnoxious that people write things that are, or say things, but really you should be allowed to say what you want to say. Does anybody have a different take on it?
I don't understand.
You don't understand? Okay, so,
I don't understand at all because
well, you don't understand cancel culture, or you don't understand? Okay, so it's a concept that's very new, but let's say I cancel you, Nellie. I say, Nellie comes in here with his nose out, and then I put it on social media. I take a picture of you, put it on social media, and then, so your nose isn't covered, I put it on the Facebook, Instagram, and I say, this guy in my class refuses to cover his nose. I tell the police about it, and the cancellation would be Nellie can't come to class, or maybe even stay enrolled at the university. So you've been canceled. Well, yeah, I'll always remember you. I think some people do want to be canceled. Yes. Say it really loud so that they can hear. I probably have to repeat anyway.
I feel like, I don't know, it can be a negative and positive thing, because some people deserve it and some don't.
Okay, so that's where I kind of want the conversation to go. It's negative and positive, right? So it's not a black and white. It's not like it's so cool that you can cancel somebody, but it's also like, oh, there are some repercussions when you're obnoxious. What did you say?
The way you present yourself, your actions, and your character determine how people see you. If you do not carry yourself in a professional way, people do have the right to deny you.
Okay, so let me just check in with these guys, because I'm really supposed to stay over here. Oh, you guys can't even see me. I'll get better at this, I promise. I thought I was good at it after the spring. Okay, so the last, did you guys, so give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Could you hear any of the conversation in class? Oh, good, some of you could. Oh, excellent. Okay, so the last person read a very brief and concise statement about the way you carry yourself and present yourself, it can have ramifications, it can have an effect on your professional life. Is that a kind of a, yeah. So, okay, so that's what a fast write is. Today, I just want you to save it. We can discuss cancel culture later. Yeah, do you guys want to know what my thoughts on cancel culture is? So I think that it's really complicated. I believe in freedom of speech so that people in their professional and private worlds can say what they want. But I also see that there are ramifications. And if you are out there being completely obnoxious, I don't think it's, I'm a little bit for canceling. If I had to pick, even though I hate the idea of people losing their jobs and having this follow them forever, I hate that, but I feel like if you did something that is universally visible as disgusting, you did that. Yes. Why did the bird watcher even care that the person had the dog off the leash? I mean, he's a bird watcher and he wants his peaceful park where there's not an animal that's. I mean, it's complicated, right? And then I just remember that with him, he also chose not to press charges, so that would be not canceling her. He was on the like, let's not, her life has been made miserable enough, she lost her job, I'm not gonna go to the legal system against her. And I don't know if birds, I know that cats and birds, that's a conflictual relationship, that cats kill a lot of birds, but I don't know what the dog situation with the birds is. But she was breaking the law. There was a leash law and she was breaking the law, and she used her phone to try to intimidate him. So she did a bad thing, in my opinion. But again, that's my opinion. So hopefully you guys are thinking about what you want to bring in for the fast writes. And then on Friday, I'm going to bring in another one, and then I'll sign you up. You don't need to know what your fast write question or prompt is today. But by the time that you come into class and we're using you, if I say, hey, today it is Zaire's day, Zaire should know what she's going to ask the class to write about. Okay, so moving along, I'm going to go over here onto Moodle. There were some questions. I received some emails about your first assignment, which is this one, the who are you? Why are you here? And what do you want to get from this class? So you're going to be able to see each other's responses. Hopefully that doesn't make you feel too exposed. I don't want you to overthink it. Who are you? Tell me your name, where you're from, so I can start to figure out who you are. Why are you here? People have a lot of different reasons for coming to college, right? It's not, there's usually not one end goal. I suppose you could say you go to college to get a job, but that is not the only reason people come to college. And then the final part of the question, what do you want to improve on? So in this class and in every class you're ever going to take, there are people that have different levels, right? There are going to be stronger writers, there are going to be weaker writers, there are going to be people for whom math is easy and others for whom it's difficult. So I want you to figure out what you need, what you want to progress on in the realm of writing and understanding texts. When I say understanding texts, it's just a fancy way of saying reading. understanding text. Which brings us to our next thing, which is your first assignment, which is a major assignment, meaning the bulk of your grades comes from writing papers. So the first assignment is called the personal narrative. And as you see, you can click here, personal narrative. And the personal narrative is a personal thing. It doesn't seem so much like a college paper because you're writing about yourself, you're telling a story. A narration means explaining how something passed through time and space. So you're writing about something that happened that is personal. Personal narratives that are not personal aren't really accomplishing the task. Okay, so right up here, this is English 101 stuff that many of you probably learned in high school. However, I didn't when I went to high school, so I'm not surprised if many of you didn't learn this. So you have this style called MLA. Does anybody know what MLA means? Yes. You don't? So it means Modern Language Association, and it's an organization that tells people in English classes how to write in formatting and also in referencing. So we're just going to start at the beginning with MLA formatting. MLA formatting requires that you use Times New Roman font. So no cute fonts, no sans comic fonts, no pretty fonts. You get two, Times New Roman. So this is your first experience of the creativity being crushed out of you in an English class. You only can use two fonts, and you should not do bold fonts. You should not do italicized titles. You should not underline titles, and you should not use cute colors. So black font. You should make a creative title. You should indent paragraphs. You should use Times or Times New Roman. And this is what it looks like, which this example, ironically, is not in Times New Roman. And after reading papers for 20 years, I see immediately Times New Roman. So just do it so I don't have to say, it's one less thing for me to say, could you please use Times New Roman? You have to use 12-point font. Again, I can tell you if it's 11-point, 11.5 font, 12-point font, because it's what I do all day long. So you need to make sure that you get your name, my name, the name of the class. Our class is called English 101 3M, and then the date. And there's a special formatting for the date, which I'll get to in a minute. Okay, so that's what your paper should look like. Now, what should be in the paper, and what's in the paper is more important than what it should look like. The content is more important. With that said, I'm also going to hold you to this formatting thing. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to read the assignment. So this is your first assignment. Come back, assignment. It is worth 25% of your grade. So that's a chunk right there, 25% of your grade. So you want to start on a good foot and try to do as well as you can on this paper. The paper is due, its first draft is due on, when is it due? The 24th. So a couple weeks from now, today's the 12th, right? So you have 2 weeks to figure this thing out. And that paper that you turn in on the 24th is not a real grade. It's just a draft. Okay, so what should it be about, and what's the literacy business here? Okay, so first you should be trying to think about a little bit why you chose this topic. What does it mean to you? I want you to begin to think about telling your story in terms of something that you did not understand, but now you do understand. So that's part of literacy. Can you only read text? No, we read each other's faces, we read each other's body language, we read each other's clothing. Is there a better example than masks? what does it mean on Nichols campus if you don't have a mask right now? What is that telling the world?
Listening to the rules.
That you either don't know the rules or that you don't care about the rules, right? So we can read people. If I see somebody with a mask, I don't think they have corona. I think that the mask to me is like, I don't really care about this whole coronavirus situation. If you're not wearing the mask, it's basically saying, I don't know about it or I don't care about it. So that's an example of reading clothing. So reading and understanding things is not simply words on page. We can read anything. You can read a car, you can read a desk, you can read a building, you can read a tree, you can read people, right? So what is it that you learn to read in a new way? Okay, so I want you to be thinking about this. Like, that's the first assignment. It's a personal narrative where it's something that you learned to interpret or read in a new way. And what am I able to narrate differently now as I write this? So there's sort of this is what it was like, and this is how I understand it today. So your personal essay, it has to be about a topic that you found or that you continue to find confusing or raises interesting questions. In your personal narrative, you should offer some answers. Topics need not be too personal, but they should arise from your own experiences and observations. If they're too personal, it's like if it's about your best friend and your little posse and nobody else in the class knows them and nobody else in the class, you're not writing them in a way that we want to get to know them or that we can understand them. It's like, that's just your little thing and we don't understand it. So you have to be a pretty good writer if you're writing about your family, your friends, because you know them so well and you're really not writing for yourself. You're supposed to be writing for an audience so that we can understand this thing about you. So the personal narrative should be personal, but it should be also something that interests other people. Whatever you share, the paper might be shared in class, although I tend not to share personal narratives. We're not going to do peer review of the personal narrative. So in the end, it is just me that reads it. But think about this. Your class is the audience. You're not really writing for me because the two papers that come after the personal narrative, you do share with the class. So you want to start figuring out how to make your topic accessible, understanding, and interesting to each other. Not necessarily me. Like your first example of cancel culture, I'm sure other people in the class knew. I didn't, and it's just, I'm not your perfect audience. Your audience really is yourselves. Okay, so let's say you're like, holy cow, I don't know what to write about. I've given you a big long list. You could describe a person, a place, an event, or a thing that has special significance for you. The most crucial elements for this paper is you have a clear purpose, plenty of concrete and specific examples. You should also make sure that your paper is clearly and effectively organized, meaning there are paragraphs. You do not need to do 5 paragraphs. That is something, did anybody's high school teacher tell them to do the 5-paragraph essay? Have you learned that? Okay, so that's over. That's one way of teaching writing. If we limited ourselves every time to 5 paragraphs, then there'd be one kind of writing that you're producing. That's it. Go look at any magazine. There is no such thing as the 5-paragraph essay outside of high school English. Let me repeat that. There is no such thing as the 5-paragraph essay. So your teachers trained you well to do that thing. Now you know how to do it, and we don't do it anymore. That's over. Does that make sense? Okay. So some of you might be very economical writers. 3 paragraphs. Some of you might have a lot to say. Many, many paragraphs. There's not a prescribed number of paragraphs. But with that said, paragraphs should be about one idea. You shouldn't have in your personal narrative, it shouldn't be an endless thread. It should be fairly well thought out that this paragraph is about this, and then this paragraph is about this, and the paragraph should have some kind of transition between them. Okay, So you need an introduction, you need paragraphs in the body, and you need a conclusion, but you do not need 3 paragraphs in the body. You need as many paragraphs in the body as you need to do your personal narrative. Okay, so don't just describe things, but also how you feel about that thing. If you want to describe your neighborhood, don't list the names of the people, the descriptions of the houses. Give us a controlling idea that expresses how you feel about it. Is your neighborhood comfortable and accepting? Is it impersonal and unfriendly? Is it noisy, busy, happy? How did you understand this place as a child? How do you understand it today, writing this paper? So you could write about your neighborhood, but you don't have to. And so here's this like long list of things that you could write about your personal narratives. You don't have to choose any of those. So you could write about your home city, you could write about an unusual person you've met, you could write about somebody who's very unusual, you could write about a parent. However, why does Disney use a lot of evil step-parents? Why are moms, you guys, I could talk all day about my mom. I have an awesome mom. However, I know that you don't want to know about it. Why are moms boring? Evil moms are interesting. Regular moms love their children more than anything in the world, and children love their moms. So unless there's some twist to your mom being awesome, it's probably not great to write about your mom, which is hard because I know that your mom is a special person. My mom is a special person to me, right? So I know I'll probably get some mom essays. You could write about your most prized possession. You could write about family holidays. Remember though, if it's Thanksgiving and that's your special holiday, guess what? All of America is also eating turkey and macaroni and cheese on that day. So, you know, make your family Christmas dinner wise it a little different. You could write about your least or most favorite job, which is a pretty awesome topic. Jobs are something that almost everybody relates to. Bad jobs are funny and interesting. Let me tell you, like some of the bad jobs that have stuck with me from teaching the personal narrative. A guy from one of my classes wrote about being a busboy at a restaurant here in Thibodaux, then he got bumped up to waiter, but the restaurant, which still exists, had terrible cash problems. So they were paying him in cash because they could never make payroll. So he never got checks, and it was very problematic and kind of fascinating because he was your age and he's like, sure, bring on the cash. I like cash, but it actually causes problems in the long run if you don't have a paycheck. To give you an example, did you hear about, or were you the recipients of stimulus money from the government when COVID hit? Your parents might have been. So the way that you get the stimulus money is that you filed your taxes. If you don't have a paycheck, you didn't file your taxes, and so you're not going to get the stimulus money. Although that was well before COVID, so, but he knew that it was weird that he wasn't getting paid. So you could write about an event that changed your life, you could write about an accident, you could write about an incident that revealed the true character of a friend, your greatest moment. Any athletes in here at home? Any of you guys athletes? All right, so athletes, if it's your greatest moment, make sure it's relatable to everybody. If it's like a specific play on the football field that not everyone likes football. Make sure that you're writing about something that's a little broader. Most people can relate in some way, shape, or form to sports, or to challenges, or to doing well, or to maybe not doing well. Okay, you could write about an embarrassing moment. You could write about your first day at school, Nichols. All of these are personal. Okay, so we're almost out of time. So here's the literacy part. Do more than tell a story. There must be a purpose behind telling the story that speaks in some way to someone else. It should ultimately answer the so what question. So the so what question, you need to have some reflection to say, why is this important? Why did you not know something in the day, but now you get it? That's the literacy, that's the reading, that's the light that should go off in your reader's head. So there's the then narration, this is the way I was, but now I see it like this. So that's what I'm not, when I say literacy, and when we say literacy, we're not just talking about reading. Okay, so we're gonna go back over some of this stuff on Friday, but here's what I want you to do for Friday. So I want you to look in the Digital Archive of Literacy Narratives. So it's in the Moodle. I'm gonna show you again how my Moodle works. All your professors probably do something different in Moodle. So you go over here, you click on the personal narrative. Here is the assignment. When I say the assignment, are you following the assignment? How closely does your paper align with the assignment? This thing is the assignment, paper 1. Since you don't have to turn in your paper for almost 2 weeks, we're not going to worry about this part until we're closer to it. But we're going to worry about what a literacy narrative. So you're going to have to click on literacy narratives, and you are going to have to look up a literacy narrative. So when I say look up a literacy narrative, you do it by saying search narratives. Now, give me a topic, any topic, and we'll see if there's a literacy narrative on that topic. Oh, my quiet freshman. How about you? What's the topic, any topic? Anything at all? Crawfish. So I'm thinking that there will not be a literacy narrative about crawfish. However, you could write a literacy narrative about crawfish. So crawfish, I could be wrong. Oh snap, no. So I kind of knew that. Did you guys know that like outside of East Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, no one eats crawfish? Yeah, not a thing. I like it, I do. Okay, so that, if you're too, like, this is a very regional thing, you're probably not gonna find it. So what about the topic?
You do like
Pit bulls, the animal.
yes.
Okay, there's gonna be a lot.
Yeah.
And so why are there gonna be a lot of things about pit bulls, but nothing about crawfish? It's because, and then pit bull can be spelled different ways. Oh, that's crazy. Let me try it like this, pit bull. Yeah, there's space. What? Oh, I'm really surprised. Let me try it one more time. Pit bull with a capital. That blows my mind.
Try college.
I'm really good.
Try who?
College.
Cosby? Or
College student.
college student, I'm sorry. College student. I'm getting old and my hearing is, okay, so thank you. I'm blown away that there's not a pit bull narrative. I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna say dogs. Yeah. So notice there are, within there, how could there not be one story about a pit bull? That just,
Maybe it's a little dash.
maybe, or maybe it just, the keyword isn't good, but I'm sure there's something on pit bulls in there, because that's a huge topic. Okay, give me a topic. Jobs, guaranteed. So notice like the more general you are, dogs, college students, jobs, there's gonna be a lot. So, tons of stuff. Okay, so you are, your assignment for Friday is to simply tell us what your topic was and read 3 literacy narratives. They're short, they're not long. Just pick a topic. Oh, something about New Orleans, interesting. Pick a topic, read it, and read 3 on the topic.
Before Friday? Before Friday?
Before, well, be prepared on Friday. Yes, so before Friday. Also, let me just remind you that you have the forum due this evening. It cuts off either at 5 to midnight or midnight. So don't wait till midnight to turn in your forum. Do it between now and 11, I would say, seems reasonable. Okay, so that's that for today. Are there any questions? Are there any questions from my remote students? Let me find the chat. Okay, so if the remote people have any questions, please write them in the chat. What is the forum about? Okay, so if there's no questions about the forum, or if you guys have no questions, you're welcome to go. And I'm gonna share with Alexis what the forum is about. So I'll see you online, and it'll probably be chaotic again like today. I'll try to keep it unchaotic. All right. Alexis, here I come with the forum. So you go to Moodle, and it's not under the personal narrative. The forum is up here, and it says, who are you? And then you're going to answer these questions. Okay, who are you? Why are you here? And what do you want from the class? So the university wants you to have these as what you're getting from English 101. But I want you to have what you want from English 101. And I want to sort of gauge, like, are we progressing in what you want? Yes, Samantha, that is correct.
I
Yeah.
think I did turn in my form already. I think I did it the other day.
Okay, then you're good.
All right, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't something new.
Does your computer not have a camera?
Mine, yeah, it does, but I called in when I was walking back from my other class on my
Okay.
phone, so my
It
camera's
just helps
broke
me
right
to get to
now.
know you, so I understand that these are weird circumstances.
Thank you.
All right, see you on Friday. Yes,
I have a computer question, this is a question.
I might not have the answer.
Office 360, with the Zoom Nichols student thing, and I don't know how to work. I didn't learn it, and that's one of the different, but I don't know what any of this means.
Start able to do a brand new document.
Some of it
Me too. So there's the different things.
yeah, just like a,
This is new to me, Microsoft Suite. So go ahead. Either. Oh, we'll just touch it. I'm so sorry. It's so weird to me.
no, I'm not bothered.
I'm gonna give you. All right. Well, I'm sure you already did all this.
I did, and I
Where do I do my work?
Exactly.
So I would go to the library to, and ask one of the people who sit at the front of the library, computerized cameras are.
yes, ma'am.
And, they'll know, or they'll send you to somebody who knows. Because, yeah, they're here to me too, so I'm so
It's
sorry.
okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
Me too. And when you find out, let me know.